Welcome, race fans, to Photo Finish. I'm your host, Steve-O. This is episode 13, your 2023 Belmont Stakes preview. As always, we are brought to you by Spinnable Sports. Go to spinnablesports.com for all your daily sports news and notes. We will be previewing the 155th running of the Belmont Stakes on June 10th. It's coming up from Belmont, New York. Weather's good, it's supposed to be mid-70s. Should be good weather that day, provided that the smoke from the Canadian wildfires clear. They did cancel racing on Thursday. As I'm recording this, no races on Thursday. They bumped some of those Grade 1 races to Sunday. But I know that they are playing baseball in New York today. There was a doubleheader in the Yankees game. So hopefully they'll be able to race tomorrow and for the Belmont Stakes on Saturday. Before we get into preview of the race card, I want to just go over a couple of things here. Breeders' Cup Challenge Series schedule has been released. There's going to be 80 win-in-your-in races. We've already had a couple over the past few weeks. We've got 3 actually on Saturday that we'll be talking about in a minute. And then some big races starting July 1st. NBC is going to have the July 1st coverage from Churchill Downs. And let me just pause right there. If you follow horse racing at all, you know that there have been a sudden increase in horse deaths at Churchill Downs that led the track, and the Kentucky Racing Commission made the decision to move the rest of the spring meet from Churchill Downs to Ellis Park. So I don't know if they're going to run on July 1st or not. I know that they are taking a hard look at the track to see if there's been any sudden changes in the surface, in the turf surfaces. I can't tell you why there has been a sudden increase in these deaths, specifically at Churchill Downs, but I know that the racetrack is taking very seriously, and they decided to shut down the rest of the spring meet. I do think they're going to be back racing by July 1st. They've already announced they've taken some precautions to make some changes with the track surface, and they're doing a deep dive on what could be the cause. But assuming that there's racing from Churchill Downs on July 1st, the Stephen Foster Grade 1 Stakes will be a win-in-your-in to get you in the $6 million Breeders' Cup Classic. The Breeders' Cup this year is taking place November 3rd and 4th from Santa Anita. Also on NBC is going to be the Haskell Stakes this year. That's a big race every year in July from Monmouth Park. This year, it's going to be July 22nd. Again, it's going to be a win-in-your-in to the Breeders' Cup Classic for the winner of the Haskell. Then racing switches over to Fox. In August 12th, the 4-Star Dave Stakes from Saratoga is going to be a win-in-your-in to the Breeders' Cup Turf Mile. Also, a win-in-your-in to the Breeders' Cup Turf Mile is going to be a Grade 1 stakes race from Woodbine on September 16th. That one's going to be televised by ABC. Big day of racing is going to be on October 7th and October 8th. Big weekend. CNBC's got coverage that weekend. There's going to be, I believe, 5 or 6, maybe even 7 or 8 win-in-your-in races that weekend. Specifically, the American Pharoah Stakes from Santa Anita on October 7th. It's going to be a win-in-your-in to the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Keeneland's got a win-in-your-in to the Breeders' Futility is a win-in-your-in as well to the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Keeneland's also got a Turf Mile that day. That'll get you into the Turf Mile at the Breeders' Cup. And the American Stakes is going to be a win-in-your-in to the Filly and Mare Sprint. So some good races coming up over the next few months. Trying to keep you updated as we go along. Certainly we'll have a big Breeders' Cup preview as we get closer. I did say that there are 3 win-in-your-ins on Saturday. So let's just, I'm going to do something a little bit different. We're going to pull up the racing card here. And I've already gone through and made some notations here of things that I like and horses that I like. And you can kind of see what I'm looking at as I break down the race. The first race we're going to look at is race 7 at Belmont Park on Saturday. 3:02 post time. This is the Phipps, the Ogden Phipps Grade 1. It's going off on the dirt track at 1 mile and 16th. This is a win and you're in for the Longines Distaff. So see who I like there at the top. We'll come back and get to that in a minute. I just want to kind of scroll you through. We're not going to deep dive every horse in this race. The one past the Champagne, 8-1 in the morning line, won his last race, 116 speed figure, which is very good. So that's a horse that I was looking at. You may recognize some of the names of these horses. These are a little bit older fillies and mares, 4-year-olds plus. Search Results is one that has been heavily raced. She finished second at the Kentucky Oaks back in 2021. Has raced in a lot of Grade 1s, Grade 2s, Grade 3s since then. Has raced in some really big races. Still putting up pretty good speed numbers. Back before the Breeders' Cup last year, she ran a 120. That was good enough for second place. Didn't fare so well in the Breeders' Cup Distaff, finishing sixth. But there's some really good horses in that race. She came back. First start this year was back on Kentucky Derby Day or Kentucky Oaks Day. I'm not sure which that was, on May 5th, where she finished third to Played Hard and Secret Oath in a Grade 1, the La Troyenne Stakes. So Search Results is a horse I like. The 3 I've already tossed, just not enough speed there. 4 Secret Oath, horse I really like. She won the Kentucky Oaks 2022, has ran well in the Apple Blossom, also ran well in that race earlier at Churchill Downs, finishing second by a neck, almost to one. Probably should have won that race. Got bumped a little bit at the end. But she's got some good speed numbers. I like Secret Oath. D. Wayne Lucas and Tyler Gaffney-Leone are your connections. The 5 Played Hard, won a Grade 1 last time out. She's the one that beat Secret Oath and Search Results at Churchill Downs. Edged him out on a 116 speed figure. You can see Secret Oath ran on 115, so very close. Johnny B gets the mount. 6 is Clairiere, another horse that's just ran a lot, has looked pretty good for the most part. A couple of hiccups there, but a lot of wins on the card are on her past performance here. She won the Apple Blossom, her last start 56 days ago at Oaklawn Park, where she beat Secret Oath by a neck. Steve Asmussen, very good trainer. Joel Rosario gets the mount. 121 speed figure last time out there. That's a really good number. 123, a couple races back. That was the Breeders' Cup last year. So this horse has a lot of speed. She's a closer, stone cold closer. I like Clairiere a whole lot. I think that's it. Yeah, that's you got 6 horses in the Ogden Phipps. Clairiere is 6-5 in the morning line, so not a whole lot of value there. The other horse I'm looking at, Secret Oath, 2-1, so no value there either. I think those 2 horses are clearly the 2 best horses in this field. Search Results could surprise us and hop up there and steal a win. I like Past the Champagne too. This horse is not as heavily raced as some of the others in this race. She's trending up. Very good number here at Belmont Park just a little over a month ago. So she increases a little bit in distance. This is a horse that I'll be looking at, but I think Secret Oath and Clairiere are the 2 best horses in this field. I'm looking at playing a 4-6 exacta box. It's kind of hard for me to single either Secret Oath or Clairiere. I will probably have some of the 1 as well. A lot of it depends on what the numbers do post time. As I sit here on Thursday, these odds could move dramatically. Hopefully we don't have any scratches in the 6-horse race, but that can also factor in as well. So that is the first race that I'm going to be really looking at on Saturday. That's race 7. Race 8 here is your Grade 1 Woody Stevens. It is going to be ran at 7 furlongs on the dirt. 3:42 is your estimated post time. Again, not go through every horse. There's a bunch of horses in this race, but I'm going to highlight a couple that I like. I have tossed the one despite being undefeated. 3-year-old horse only has 3 starts, but none of them are on dirt. Just think for the first time on dirt. There's a couple of horses I like better, so I'm tossing the 1. 2, Gun Pilot, 20 to 1 on the morning line. I think it's too high. Steve Asmussen, Tyler Gaffalione, again, are your connections. As I stated, I think 20 to 1 is too high, but I don't know if this colt can compete with some of the other horses in this race. You'll see here he did run against several horses in this race at the Pat Day Mile back at Churchill Downs just a few weeks ago and finished 5th. 3-horse Arabian Lions, Bob Baffert horse, Johnny B gets the mount. He's been running at further distances here. You'll see he's cutting back. He has ran at 7 furlong before when he after he broke his maiden. That was November of last year. Really good speed numbers though. Last couple times out, 117, 121. We'll have to see how this cut back in distance treats 3-horse. The 4, General Jim, Shiv McGahee, Louis Saez, 119 last time out. Got a win at the Pat Day Mile, beat some very good horses, including a couple in this field. I think General Jim is certainly live. Just a little bit turn back in distance. Pat Day Mile, 8 furlongs is being ran at 7, so not a whole lot difference in distance. General Jim is a closer, so he can certainly compete. I've already tossed the 5. I've tossed the 6. The 7 was interesting to me. Lightly raced horse for a 3-year-old. This is going to be by far the stiffest competition he's faced yet. He broke his maiden at Oaklawn Park in April. $110,000 maiden race. 6 furlongs, ran a 113 speed figure. Came back, followed it up at Churchill Downs in a $127,000 allowance race, 6.5 furlongs. Won that one as well. So you see, he's running 113, 116. If he keeps improving on that, he certainly could compete in this race. Flavion Pratt gets the mount just as he did a few weeks ago. So the 7, 8 to 1, very interesting selection. Very lightly raced. It's one I'm keeping my eye on. The 8, Fort Bragg of Bob Baffert, Joel Rosario horse. You can see he was briefly trained by Tim Yakteen when they were trying to get this horse into the Kentucky Derby. Came up short in the Florida Derby, finishing 5th to Forte and Mage. Finished 2nd at the Pat Day Mile a few weeks ago to General Jim, but he ran a 121 speed figure, which is a really good number. I don't dislike the 8. He's dialing back just a little bit in distance, which I think could be good for him. You'll see at the Pat Day Mile, he was leading at the quarter pole. He was leading at 3/4 pole and just got necked at the wire. So Fort Bragg is a horse that I'm interested in. I've already tossed the 9. I've tossed the 10. 11, Victory Formation, Brad Cox, Florent Giroux, a little bit turn back in distance. Hasn't won since in his last 2 starts. He has 3 wins before that, including his first 2 at a similar distance. So that's a horse I'm looking at. The 12, Gilmore, I've tossed. Despite Iran Ortiz being on board, I just don't think this horse has quite the speed numbers to compete. Has finished behind several horses in this race. 13 drew my attention. 8 to 1 in the morning line. He is unbeaten, won 4 in a row. Ran a 123 speed number last time out. This is going to be by far the stiffest competition he's faced. His best race was his last race at a $150,000 stakes race, but it was here at Belmont Park, and it was at 6 furlongs. So Drew's Gold, lightly raced, undefeated. He's steadily improving on his speed numbers, including the 123 last time out. So if we go back to the top of this race, I'm actually looking at the 13, putting 13 Drew's Gold on top. Also like the 7, 8, and 4. The 4 was General Jim. The 7 talked about was Federal Judge, and the 8 was Fort Bragg. So I'm going to be using some sort of combination of those in exotics exactas, trifectas. Probably even play a superfecta with some combination or every combination of those 4 horses. There's enough horses in this race at good enough numbers. I think we should get a pretty good price. So that's race 8. Let's go on to race 9. This is going to be Grade 1 Jaipur, 6 furlongs on turf. This is a win in Europe for the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. This goes off at 4:19 is the post time. A couple of horses that I really like in this race, particularly Caravel 12. Let's go to the bottom of this form and kind of work our way up, since I have potentially got a single to 12. 16 horses in the field right now. I think some of those are also eligibles. I'm not sure how many horses are actually going to go off in this race, but I didn't see anything in the 13, 14, 15, or 16. Let's start with 12. Caravel, my pick to win. Brad Cox, Tyler G are your connections. This horse has 10 starts and 7 wins in his last 10 starts. He's got 22 starts overall, or excuse me, she does. 6-year-old mare, 14 wins and 22 starts. Pretty good percentage. But if she doesn't win, she doesn't tend to hit the board. But I like the way she's been running. As you can see, she has won her last 4 and has got pretty consistent speed numbers there doing it. So 122, 120, 122 are her last few. Casa Creed is also a horse I like, the 11. Belmont, Luis Saez. Belmont, I think, does a great job with turf horses. You can see Casa Creed, she ran a 122 her last race, which was in February at the King Abdul overseas. Finished second to by a head. So good showing from her in a very high dollar race. She did not have a great showing at the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint last November, but had some really good numbers before that. So I think you can kind of discount the Turf Sprint. Those are the best horses in the world. And so, I think that 110 was probably just a one-off. She's got the numbers to certainly compete and win this race. 10 Big Invasion. I like Christophe Clement as a turf trainer. I just don't think Big Invasion, this colt, has enough to win this race. The 9, Nothing Better. I didn't put a mark here, but 122 is a good speed number that shows that he could potentially win this race. He's got enough speed to do it. 8, Arrest Me Red. Wesley Ward, Irad Ortiz. Wesley Ward is a turf sprint guru. I think he is one of the best turf sprint trainers there is. Irad Ortiz, certainly one of the best jockeys that's out there right now. And so I don't think Arrest Me Red has the numbers to win this race. I like this horse. I just don't think you can see he finished second last year in this race, Belmont, losing to Casa Creed. Ran a couple races recently against other horses in this race, lost to Caravel and Go Bears Go. So there's another Wesley Ward horse in this race that I like better. Let's get up here to the 4, I believe it is. Nope. The 2 is Go Bears Go. This is a Wesley Ward horse as well. 12 to 1 on the morning line. I really like that number. Finished third last time out at Churchill Downs in the turf sprint there, but ran a 116. As you can see, though, this horse was overseas. It's an Irish horse, but Wesley Ward has only had one race with this horse. So I like second race with new trainer, Wesley Ward, turf sprint specialist Jose Ortiz. I think you're going to see remarkable improvement from Go Bears Go at 12 to 1 on the morning line. If it's somewhere around there on race day, I will be placing a win place bet on Go Bears Go. So I like the 12 Caravel. I also like Casa Creed. I like Go Bears Go. The 8 as well, which was, I believe that was the other Wesley Ward horse, Arrest Me Red. I would probably just for sake, you can't play everybody. I may use the 8 underneath on a couple of exotics, but primarily looking at the 12, 11, and 2. So that is your turf spread. We're going to go on to race 10, which is your Met Mile. This race is going off at 5:04. Again, on the dirt, it is a mile race. One horse here, Cody's Wish. What a phenomenal story. This horse has been, this Godolphin LLC horse has just been winning lately. 8 wins, 1 place in his last 9 starts. Third beyond that. 12 starts. And this horse has hit the board every time. 8 wins. Cody's Wish is just a special horse. Story is phenomenal. Cody is there at Belmont on Saturday. I don't know how you can bet against him. Bet against this horse anytime Cody's Wish sees Cody. You just know you're in for a dominant performance. So I've learned my lesson trying to bet against Cody's Wish. I think this is a good race if you're playing multi-races leading up to the Belmont Stakes. You know, your pick 3s, pick 4s, pick 5s. I think this is one of the races. If you want to solo the one, I think you could probably get away with that. There are some other horses I like in this race. You'll see Cody's Wish, last couple of races, 127, 128 speed figures. Slow down Andy. His last race, although it was 217 days ago, he ran a 127. Finished third, though, to Cody's Wish and Cyberknife. That was at the Breeders' Cup. So that was still a very good speed number. But I'm a little concerned about the layoff there. Dr. Schigel has not ran in a mile recently. Didn't run a 123 last time out. Irad Ortiz is on board. You never know what can happen. Hoist the Gold, 30-1 on the morning line. This horse finished second to Cody's Wish. Cody's Wish just pulled away at Churchill Downs Stakes back at Churchill in May. But Hoist the Gold was second. 122, not bad. Luis Saez is on board as he was a few weeks ago. 5, Charge It. Ty Pletcher, Johnny V, like connections. Don't like 6-1 on the morning line. Just don't like how this horse has been running. Not really a whole lot to show recently. Didn't have a good showing in his last grade 1, which was the Kentucky Derby last year. So it's a horse I'm not going to use. Zandon is a horse that I've liked in the past. He's still got some pretty good speed numbers, 129 a few races ago, which would probably be good enough to win this race, although that was last year. He's had 1 race this year at Belmont Park 36 days ago, where he finished second to Repo Rocks in a grade 3. Winchester, still 123 speed numbers, good. Chad Brown, Flavion Pratt, good connections there. I'll be using Zandon underneath in some form. Repo Rocks, another horse here, 129 last time out, Belmont, as I just stated, beat Zandon a few weeks ago to get that win. And in fact, beat Zandon pretty handily by 5 1/4 lengths. So 4-1 on the morning line. Repo Rocks is one you got to take a look at as well. I've thrown out the 8. I've thrown out the 9. 9, White Avario, has ran in some very good races. Florida Derby last year, Kentucky Derby last year, Haskell Stakes, Cigar Mile, the Pegasus Cup. Has ran in some good races. Did win last time out, 121 speed figure on dirt at 7 furlongs, although Rick Dutrow is now the trainer. This horse no longer being trained by Safi Joseph. So, first race with a new trainer. Not sure what to make of that. This horse has experience and has won before, but I don't think I'm going to be playing any White Avario. Just first race with a new trainer. So the 1, Cody's Wish. This is who I like. I'll be playing some combination 1 over the 6 and 7, or maybe a 1-7 straight exacta. 1-7-6 straight trifecta probably is what how I'm gonna play it. And solo Cody's Wish for the purposes of pick 3s, pick 4s, pick 5s. Let's go on now to race 11. This is your grade 1 Manhattan. It's going to be ran at 1.25 miles on the inner turf course. You can see I've already tossed the 1 here. 2, Strong Quality. Mark Cassie, Florent Giroux are your connections. This horse has improved his last few races out, including 2 wins out of his last 2. 121 speed number last time at Keeneland. So Strong Quality, not a bad option at 15-1. 3, just didn't have enough in the Man of War 28 days ago. Belmont, 5-1. I do like Charlie Appleby. If he's shipping horses over, he's got horses that he believes can win this race. But there's Charlie Appleby horse I like a little bit better, which is the 4, Ottoman Fleet. This horse won at Belmont on the inner turf back in May. Ran a 123 speed number, which is good. Ran 123 to win a race in England before that. Charlie Appleby, Lee Buick. Very good connections coming over from Great Britain. So the 4 is one that I definitely have my eye on. 5, Soldier Rising, Christophe Clement, Jose Ortiz. I think Christophe Clement, again, I think I said earlier, he's a really good turf trainer. This horse is a closer, so depending on how the early pace sets up, he's got some late speed. He finished second last time out in the Man of War with the 120 speed number. I like Soldier Rising, probably be using him underneath. 6, Red Knight, Mike Maker, Tyler G. This horse won the Man of War a few weeks ago at Belmont. Ran a 121 speed number then, ran 120 back-to-back before that this year. So this horse is in pretty good form. Is running well. Mike Maker, very good trainer. 9-year-old gelding here is Red Knight. 34 starts, 12 wins, 9 seconds. So pretty good numbers there. So Red Knight's one I'm going to be using as well. I've tossed 7. I've got a check mark by the 8, which is Todd Pletcher and Irad Ortiz has up to the mark. 125 the last time out. What a massive speed number that is. See, this horse has steadily been increasing and is lightly raced compared to the other horses in this race. Only 9 career starts, 4 wins, including the Turf Classic at Churchill Downs earlier this year. Finished 3rd in the Maker's Mark Mile at Keeneland before that, and won 2 races before that. So this horse is steadily improving. I think the 8 is probably my favorite horse in this race. I've tossed the 9 and I've tossed the 10. So let's go back up and see how we're playing this. I just said 4, 6, 8. Those are 3 horses I like. I probably will have the 8 on top. I like up to the mark the best. And then Ottoman Fleet and the 6, which was Red Knight. I will be playing some combination of that, but the 8 horse up to the mark is the one that I like the best. So I'll probably be having the 8 on top. And that takes us to the 155th running of the Belmont Stakes, which is ran at 1.5 miles on the dirt course. It's going off at 7:02 p.m. Fox has this race, which is a change from NBC. I believe NBC's had all the Triple Crown races for the last 10 years or so. So Fox has said they're pulling out all the stops. They're sending their A crew. Kurt Menefee is going to be hosting the coverage. So we should be able to see all races, every race from Belmont on Saturday, either on Fox Sports 1 or Fox proper. So let's go through every horse in this race. The 1 horse, Tappet Shoes, Brad Cox, Jose Ortiz. This horse, very lightly raced, has not faced a high level of competition. 20-1 in the morning line. This horse is probably going to be towards the front. Breaking from the rail at Belmont Park for the Belmont Stakes actually has produced the most Belmont winners. I don't know that Tappet Shoes has enough, but this horse is improving. Speed numbers are steadily getting better. Finished second to Route 1 just back in April at Oaklawn Park in a stakes race there. So I'm not going to toss the 1 completely. I'll probably use the 1 underneath. Try and pump up some prices on some exactas, trifectas, maybe a super. Hope the 1 hits the board, but I'm not going to pick the 1 to win. I think there are just some way better horses in this race. One of the things to keep an eye on is the pace of this race. Been reading and listening to a couple of people's opinions on the pace, and if National Treasure, the 4-horse, won the Preakness, if Bob Baffert sends him to the lead and he is not challenged, he could run away with this thing. He could gate to wire the Belmont just like he did the Preakness. But if I think Tappet Shoes and maybe another horse here we'll get to in just a minute, if they actually press National Treasure, then I think this race sets up for our closer. And I think Brad Cox has a better chance to win this race with another horse. The one may be entered just to put some pressure on National Treasure. And if that happens, then I think we should be looking for closers here. The 2-horse Tappet Trice, Todd Pletcher, Luis Saez. This horse finished 7th in the Kentucky Derby, ran a 113 speed figure. His best speed figure to date is 114. He was 9-2 in the Kentucky Derby. It's 3-1 in the morning line here. But I just think there's some better horses in this race. I don't like Tappet Trice. 3 is interesting. Arcangelo won his last 2 races, including the Peter Pan at Belmont here just a few weeks back. 113 speed number there, 114 before that. It turns me as he ran a 114 at Gulfstream in March, came back around a 113. You'd like to see those numbers increasing, especially here in such a race with such stiff competition. This is by far going to be the biggest race he's ran in, the best competition he's faced. You can see here he really hasn't ran in anything above a $84,000 maiden until that he won the Peter Pan. And so I just don't think 3 at 8-1 is deserving. I think I would have his morning line about 12 to 15-1. But we'll see what happens closer to race time. I'm not necessarily tossing 3 entirely, but he's going to have to show a huge jump to compete with the horses in this race, including National Treasure here, the 4. This Bob Baffert, Johnny V horse did win the Preakness, 117 speed number, very good number, which is consistent with his Santa Anita start, where he also ran a 117, although he finished 4th there to Practical Move, Mendon, Hero, and Skinner, who were 3 horses in the Kentucky Derby. National Treasure didn't get into the Derby for that reason, but as you know, came back and won the Preakness, ran gate to wire, looked good doing it. 101 early speed. National Treasure is probably going to go for the lead. The question is he going to be pressed? Is another horse going to go with it? If he is allowed to control the pace, he could gate to wire this thing. So I'm not tossing National Treasure, and I think there's absolutely a scenario where he can win. Let's keep looking here. The 5, Il Miracolo. Sorry, I just don't see enough here. He ran his best race last time out, Gulfstream Park, in a $52,000 allowance race, which he won by only a length and 3/4. Ran a 103. He just doesn't have the speed to compete. 5's a complete toss. 6, Forte, Todd Pletcher, Irad Ortiz Jr. As you know, he was going to be your morning line favorite for the Kentucky Derby, but got scratched by the vets. He looked like he had been working out fine leading up to the Kentucky Derby. The vet saw something he didn't like. I don't think Mike Rapoli and Todd Pletcher agreed with that decision, but he was scratched. Forte's won his last 5 races, won 6 of 7 overall. He won the Florida Derby, Fountain of Youth, won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, was the best 2-year-old last year. Some say he's the best 3-year-old this year. I really like Forte. He's done nothing wrong. He's ran some good races, but I think he's going to need the race to collapse and for him to have a chance to come from behind and steal this. He's been working out fine. He hadn't had any issues as far as I'm aware. I like Forte. He's going to be one of my picks to win this race. 7, Hit Show. This is the other Brad Cox horse in this race, meaning Franco gets the mount. I think this is Brad Cox's best chance to win this. You'll see Hit Show did run in the Kentucky Derby after finishing 2nd in the Wood Memorial to get in. He finished 5th, not a bad showing at all. 117 speed number, his best to date, and a very good number. I think Hit Show has the speed to contend in this race. He's going to be forwardly placed, just off of the lead, in my opinion. I think he'll be right behind the leaders. He did finish, like I said, finish fifth with the 117 speed number the last time out. I think if he runs 117 in this race, he could absolutely win. The 8, Angel of Empire. Brad Cox, Flavion Pratt, another horse style. In fact, I think I said that 7 may have been Brad Cox's best chance to win this race. I misspoke. Angel of Empire is Brad Cox's best chance to win this race. 122 last time out in the Kentucky Derby, finished third. You can see here from the past performance, he had to go 7 wide in the Kentucky Derby. I think if he wouldn't have been forced out so wide, I think Angel of Empire would have won that race. In fact, I think Angel of Empire, I believe, if I'm correct, was my pick at post time to win the race after all of the scratches. So I like Angel of Empire here. You can see his speed numbers have been steadily improving since his first start back in August of 2022. Lightly raced, 7 races, 4 wins, second and third. So Angel of Empire is a horse I like here. The 9, Red Route 1, I've tossed the 9. Finished 4th in Preakness. It's not a bad horse. I don't think he's got the speed to compete with other horses in this race. You can see he finished 6th in the Arkansas Derby, 2nd in the Rebel, and 4th in the Preakness to some better horses. So that is your Belmont Stakes field, 9 horses. How am I going to be playing it? I'm going to be playing Forte on top. I like 6. I like Angel of Empire, and I like National Treasure. So I'm going to be playing Forte over National Treasure, Angel of Empire. In my exotics, I'm not tossing the 1. I'm going to be using the 1 and 3 in some superfectas and hope that we can get some prices. I'll probably use the 7 as well underneath and just hope they hit the board. Hope Forte comes out on top, and then we should make some money. And so I think if you're playing multi-races, I think there's a couple of opportunities to solo Cody's Wish, solo Clairiere, and that leaves you some more options in this race if you don't want to solo Forte. Forte, Angel Empire, National Treasure, I think are the 3 that I'd be looking at if you're playing multi-races. But Forte is my pick to win. That wraps up the 2023 Belmont Stakes preview edition of Photo Finish. As always, I'm your host, Steve-O. Good luck, race fans.